Hi everybody. So I think we can all agree 2020 was a year we'd rather forget. However, 2020 had some amazing books come out. So today I'm here to talk about 10 books that came out in 2020 that I want to make sure are on your TBR. So let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? I hope you are well. I hope you are happy. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're safe. As always, I hope you're reading an amazing book or two or three or four. It is a beautiful day in Northern California today. However, rain is a-coming. So my plans over the next few days are going to change, but that's fine. That just means probably more time to read. As I have said, 2021 has been an amazing book year, but 2020 was a pretty amazing book year in and of itself. So many great titles came out. So I thought today I would share with 10 titles with you that came out in 2020 that may have missed your TBR, but should absolutely be there. So as always, get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you're so able, please order one of these books, or two, or three, or four from your local independent bookstore. And if you're a library user, get your library to get you a copy as soon as possible. Order it through your audiobook. Just read them. Promise me. You will not I promise you, you will not regret it. So let's get started. The first book I want to tell you about is Sad Janet by Lucie Britsch. This is out from Riverhead Books. Janet is a young woman. She works at an animal shelter. She sort of has enveloped herself in sadness. She's sort of in a relationship she doesn't really care for, and she's just been sort of in this bubble of sadness for a really long time. And what's happened is she's approaching the holidays and her family's going to hold an intervention, and miraculously this pill has been invented, this pill that you can take to make yourself happy. And so Janet decides to take this pill. And this is sort of a tragicomic sort of discussion on taking that pill and the outcome of this happiness. Does it do everything that Janet wants? Does it point out that there was maybe more happiness in Janet's life before that she just wasn't recognizing? I think that this is a book that sort of screams 2020 to me. So that's Sad Janet, Lucie Britsch, out from Riverhead, and this book is worth the cover alone. I want it as a poster. There you go. We're going to do a bit of nonfiction next. We're going to talk about The Deviance War, The Homosexual versus the United States of America by Cervini, and this is out from, let me make sure, FSG. So you know how much I love myself some FSG. This is the true story of Frank K-Ming. So in 1957, he was an astronomer working for the government. McCarthy comes along. He winds up losing his job, and he winds up becoming one of the first gay advocates, one of the first people striving for gay rights here in America. This is a well-researched, very well-documented nonfiction book about how this man, how Frank, changed gay rights from the moment he sort of stepped into the arena and everything he did. So if that's sort of your thing, if you like those historical books, this book is really well researched, so you're going to learn a ton of information. So that's The Deviance War, The Homosexual versus the United States of America by Cervini, out from FSG. Okay, next let's talk about The Mercies by Kiran, Millwood, Hargrave. This is out from Little Brown. This is set, I always forget the year. So this is set in Norway on a little island in the 1600s. This island has, what has happened is there was a huge shipwreck, and a lot of the men, most of the men on the island were lost. And so the women have come together. Then one day arrives a man and a woman sent from the church to sort of quell the paganism on this island. And it is a discussion about Christianity trying to take over, the fight between, the old world religions and Christianity. And it's also the story of two women, the wife of this man who's come, and also one of the women on the island, and sort of their relationship as they move forward. I love books set around this time period. I love the seclusion. I like the idea of, the old ways versus the new ways. I think all of that, I say new ways, the different ways, sort of the ways that were taking over the world at the time. So I think that if you like sort of those historical fiction that sort of talk about that transition, I think you'll really like this. So that's The Mercies by Kiran Millwood Hargrave, out now from Little Brown Books. I will say I like the UK cover of that better than I like the US cover, but I like the US cover a lot too. So there you go. The next book I want to talk about is Night Theater by Vikram Paralkar. I always sort of stumble on those two consonants being right next to each other. This is out from Catapult book. I don't know how to explain this, but so this is the story of a doctor. He lives in a very small town in India. What he has, something has gone wrong and he's sort of been banished there. He runs the little hospital in this town. And one night, a family, a mother, a father, and a young child show up, and they have been murdered, and their spirits arrive. And they tell the doctor that they've been promised that if he can fix their injuries in a night, they will come back and live their life again. And so it becomes a rush against time to fix this family. But as this goes on and he's working, one, we learn the history of the doctor, and then we learn that maybe the story that's being told to us by these spirits is not always truthful, and it sort of gets a little convoluted. It's a discussion of religion, it's a discussion of the afterlife, it's a discussion also of sort of the ethics of medicine and what you're going to do. It is so good. I read this as a book club book with my book group, and we had so much to talk about in this book. It's got a little of that magical realism feel to it. It is so well done. So that's Night Theater by Vikram Paralkar, out from Catapult. And I follow him on Twitter, and him and his husband are adorable, and I absolutely adore them. The next book I want to tell you about, and the title's down here at the bottom, so let me highlight that, is Skyland by Andrew Durbin. This is out from Nightboat Publishing, and this is a tiny, tiny little book, but it is so good. This is the story of a man who is in search of a certain painting. I got to remember where he goes. Hold on one second. But basically what he has done is he's gone on this vacation. He's searching for this painting of this author that is going to sort of put all this stuff in perspective for his research on this author. However, what we find out is that no one really is sure that this painting that he is searching for actually exists. And so it becomes this meditation on art, comes this meditation on sexuality, and also sort of this discussion about art as something you can grab a hold of versus art as something that's sort of out there in the ethos. I hope that makes sense. I read this fast and then I reread it again because it's a book that really made me think a lot of really interesting things. And I wish more people had read it because I don't know that a ton of people have. So that is Skyland by Andrew Durbin, and this is out from Nightboat Press. Okay, let's continue on real quick. Because you guys, I can talk about books forever. So What Are You Going Through by Sigrid Nunez. It seems weird to throw this book onto a pile because Sigrid Nunez has won the National Book Award. She is so well known. But this is the book that came out after she won the National Book Award. And I just don't think enough people read it. This is the book of a woman. This is the story of a woman who goes to a small town in order to spend time with her friend who is ill with cancer, and the ups and downs of those illnesses, and a discussion regarding and around, do you help your friends leave this world if that is their desire because they don't want to fight the illness that is taking over their lives? As always, Sigrid Nunez is a beautiful writer. Her prose are so majestic, and she deals with heavy topics. So you will likely cry. And so if like euthanasia and, people suffering from cancer are things that you struggle with, this book will definitely bring those to the forefront. You'll have a lot of emotional heft as you read it, because she is a brilliant writer. She really talks about the subjects with such eloquence, and she will make you feel. So that's What Are You Going Through by Sigrid Nunez, out from Riverhead Books as well. I loved The Friend. I loved that book. 100% recommend them. I'm going to go from one tough book to another, and that's Like a Bird by Fariha Roisin, and this is out from UnNamed Press. Ooh, this was a tough read. So this is about a young girl. She lives at home, very, very structured household, very, very conservative, and very, very strict. And one night she is attacked, sexually assaulted. And that event, when it comes out to her parents, their reaction is to kick her out of the house. And she has to make decisions on what to do now that she really has no family anymore. So she goes into the neighborhood, she finds work, but at the same time she's dealing with all of this trauma as well. So again, this is a book that is heavy in topic, beautifully poetic in writing, tough to read at times, but definitely will make you feel so many emotions. And I just want to point out real quick how beautiful these end papers are. Just as an aside. But this is a book of feels, so it's going to be tough. You're going to have to struggle at times to get through some of the stuff that goes on. But the main character, I gotta say her name right, Talia, is someone that you want to know, someone that you want to help, someone you want to root for, but in the same time, you see all the stuff going around her and you don't know how to help her. Hope that makes sense. So I think this book will tear your heart out in all the right ways. It is tough. I'm not going to lie to you, but it is definitely worth the read. So that's Like a Bird by Fariha Roisin, out from UnNamed Press. That book is, you guys, I'm giving you all some really good suggestions today, if I do say so myself. So the only book that I don't know a ton about on this list, because I bought it and I haven't read it yet. Why haven't I read it, you ask? But is one of my most anticipated reads of last year, is Summer Water by Sarah Moss. This is out from FSG. How beautiful is this? I'm a huge Sarah Moss fan. Ginormous Sarah Moss fan. But this is the story. So basically it's about a group of people, I think it's like 12 people, that live in these cabins or are renting these cabins. Let me make sure. They're watching from the safety of the park's rented cabins. That's right. And so they're like sort of temporary neighbors, these 12 people. They don't really interact with each other, but days pass. They sort of see each other. They make sort of comments about one another. And then action happens, and there's sort of like a tragedy occurs, and they're slowly and surely brought together into a climax. That's pretty much all I need to know. Summer Water, Sarah Moss. Sarah Moss is a brilliant writer. And my friend Jana loved this book, and I trust her 100%. So you should trust her too. Summer Water, Sarah Moss. Get your hands on it, FSG. The next book, I don't know that I talked about this one, but It Is Wood, It Is Stone by Gabriella Burnham, out from One World. How beautiful is that cover? Just take a moment. This is the story of, it's set in Brazil, okay? I can't remember if this one is, no, this one is not translated. Couldn't remember off the top of my head. Set in Sao Paulo, Brazil, it's the story of two women. Linda is an American who's sort of anxious about being in Brazil, and Marta is her maid, and it's about their relationship and everything that they learn about Brazil. So the history of Brazil and how they're sort of coming to terms with what's gone on in Brazil. And Linda is very, standoffish because she's so anxious. But together, they are going to come together and sort of create a relationship that's going to get them through everything that's going on and everything they're learning. I hope that's a good enough description. So that's It Is Wood, It Is Stone by Gabriella Burnham, out from One World. Just take a moment. This book is blurbed by Rachel Kwong and Justin Torres, who may have written 2 of my favorite little novellas ever. So yeah, definitely pick this one up. And it's beautiful, and you can turn it into art. Oh, the books are falling, you guys. Hold on one second. Okay. Last but not least on this list is Bestiary by K-Ming Chang, also out from One World. This is the story of a young girl whose mother tells her this sort of fable, folklore myth about this tiger spirit that lives in women's bodies, sort of to, I don't know what to say, scare her, because I guess the tiger spirit sort of eats these children's toes and stuff like that. And then one morning she wakes up with a tiger's tail. And what does that mean? And it's about this sort of mix of folklore and coming of age story and sort of a queer sexual awakening. There's queer representation in this book. I think this book, oh, did you hear all those books fall on the ground? I think this book was a finalist for one of the Lambda Literary Prizes. I'm 99.9% sure. But this is a fantastic mixture of sort of folklore and real life and coming of age and coming to terms with who you are and all of those sort of pieces. And I will say, they sent me the ARC of this, and then they sent me the final copy right after. And the ARC has the most beautiful stamps in it and signed by K-Ming Chang, and I'm never going to let it go ever in my life. It is so beautiful. So that is Bestiary by K-Ming Chang, out from One World, and you can get your hands on it now. So normally I would hold this pile of books up here so y'all could see it, but they are all on the floor right now. So all I have to say is, if you're a return subscriber, you know I can't do this without you. If you are new to my channel, I hope you stick around. I hope you pick up that little subscribe button. Pick it up. Just touch it. You don't have to pick it up. Hit the bell. That's what people say, right? Hit the bell. So you get notified every time I put up a new video. As always, I really encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye.